never reacted right away to something. He sort of took a beat and then slowly wandered towards what was going on, maybe.
Well, he's a smart man. He doesn't respond immetely to things. And we're still in St. Louis at this point in this entire sequence.
Chock full of nuts. That was. There's the golf cleats.
Your first wife, Susan Hubley, a very, very talented actress, very beautiful. And here for a moment, we're thinking maybe that Snake's going to hook up with her. There's a little bit of sexual tension here.
We didn't want to make him totally asexual, although I think pretty much that was what we ended up with.
It was great. She did that great. The stuntmen were under there to catch her.
He only tries to help her for a little while.
As I recall, we came back to do some inserts a few months after shooting, and you put on a little bit of weight.
It doesn't take long. It was tough because that gun kept whapping me, and we didn't have a lighter double gun.
Again, Panaglide. Here we go down a kind of an alley, and it's a nice feeling to be able to glide along. Borgnine was a perfect choice for it. He really has a great joy of life.
And out comes
Adrienne.
Wait a minute. This got even Snake's attention.
Adrienne loved this character. She really enjoyed her. She enjoys playing a tough girl. And
wardrobe is fabulous in this too, isn't it?
And now we meet Harry Dean, who is one of the most amazing people of all time.
That was tough. This was hard holding that gun. It only weighed about 30 pounds, and I was running out of gas.
And Harry Dean is extraordinary. He's got a great sense of comedy and a great sense of drama. Isaac Hayes is about to make his entrance.
This is maybe my favorite entrance in a movie ever. This car, and when I saw it for the first time, I cracked up. I've since seen that car on the streets of L.A. and anybody could have been walking with Adrienne. We could have been doing cartwheels and throwing knives, and nobody would have been noticing. And
there's Ike. You can't get any cooler than that.
You cannot get any cooler than that. And if you're going to be stuck in that situation for the rest of your life, why not put some chandeliers on your car?
Ike knows how to take stage, doesn't he?
Oh, boy.
Now here you come up to apply a little bit more physical pain here, I think.
Yeah. Well, I was concerned about looking cool in a 64 station wagon.
I always felt this kind of resembles New York right now.
Yeah.
This kind of feel right here.
After a bad day on Wall Street. I like the way that's cut together. It has that element of there's no way they can make it out.
And now up on the train, we raise the Panaglide just slightly to see Warlock creeping along.
If you were to do this picture now, just the way we did it then, how much do you think now it would cost?
Double, triple, 4 times as much, over 30 or 40 million. You've just dispatched someone back here.
This was a tough little gag with that.
Donald had the time of his life making this. He loved doing this. He loved playing this character. I had to convince him to do it in the beginning. He didn't understand why I wanted him, but once he got it.
This was a sort of a patented Carpenter jump.
Yeah, cheap trick, but it always works.
It was a good one. Do that little walk.
Bingo.
Shoving his stub into my throat.
Here comes Frank Doubleday. Ike has a great face, doesn't he?
Yeah. Now you guys must have talked about the twitch.
He wanted to do the twitch. And we're again dealing with an action movie on the edge of comedy and on the edge of being a little broad, but we seem to pull it off. It's when you're in the future and you're in a crazy world like this, I think it allows you to go over the edge. At the time, I recall several people being very worried that we weren't going to have any contrast in our film. It was going to be too dark. We're into a little brighter visuals for the audience. That's actually a dusk shot in Los Angeles.
Waking up to that.
Now here's your tattoo.
Here's a tattoo.
That disappears below the belt line there.
The simplicity of this time. We just had fun, didn't we? It was just you're just dancing on your feet. You were whatever would work.
And it was true. There's something that is on the screen from that time. I mean, it was the beginning of my career, and you'd been acting for many years, but it was the beginning of your a second part of your career.
Adult career, and I never had anything remotely like this, the opportunity to do anything like this, and I'd always felt that I would feel comfortable in a role like that. You were the only one that was willing to take a chance on me doing that.
Well, I figured you could play Elvis. You can play anything. And here we have Donald being humiliated. Again, you kind of see the beauty of a widescreen movie because you have so much screen space in this rectangle to play, and if you use wide-angle lenses, it really gives a sense of scope. And it's almost like a medieval film, except in the future. You've got a costume drama, and you've got a lot of outrageous characters. But everybody invests it with a certain reality. There I am, right there.
Yes, John, there you are.
There I am. And here we come in. This is, again, before the Twilight Zone. Nobody really has any fear of helicopters at this point.
It's always sort of reminded me of, for some reason, I thought this was like Roots. And one of the toughest thing about this day was that the snake was starting to sweat off of my stomach. So we had to keep retouching up the cobra.
But here comes Ox now. He's an amazing human being. He's used to a lot of
real contact.
Real contact.
He didn't understand movie contact very well. That's just the way I felt.
And that's a real wrestling ring. And we're in the train station again, and it's torch lit with a lot of smoke.
A lot of people in that.
So now we're in an ante room, and there's Donald's contribution to the fun.
Politics of America.
Exactly. We're going to let loose the president.
Now, this was what he didn't want, and those nails were real.
He only has an hour and a half left before his head blows off. So
he's got a problem.
He has some serious problems.
This guy was jacked up.
And the president pops up, reutilizing the sets that we used before, which is a kind of a little secret that you can do with low-budget films and still make it look like it's made for a reasonable amount of money. I think that it's hard to believe this was made for $5 million. I sit here now and think to myself, how did we do it? It may have been up to $6 million.
I remember in those days, one of the things that was interesting about the way the studio treated you was that they knew to really to leave you alone and to not mess with your movie.
I'd never really done a major studio film. My first major studio film for Universal came after this. We did it together. It was called The Thing. Yep. And it was a totally different experience because when you work for the majors, they tend to try to exert much more control over you than you do when you're an independent. And so these were the good old days, Kurt. When we had
it's the truth. It would be fun to attack a picture the same way.
Wouldn't it? It would be fun to go back and try something this way again.
It forces you. It does force you to be. It forces you to think. It forces you to be creative. Yes. You just don't have the dollars to back you up.
So you have to do it on your feet, and you have to do it with your performances, and your storytelling has to be very straightforward. And in some ways, it's much more fun. And in some ways, you're taking more chances and getting more in return. And here comes Ike in his car. He's going to jump the bridge. Boy, that thing jumps, doesn't it?
And it's interesting how in a very short period of time you can turn an audience from having a sort of campy kind of fun into a feeling of reality between two characters in a situation that's high-powered. In fact, and you shot that in your garage?
That's in my garage, yeah.
We talked also about who should go up first.
Yeah.
We thought at this point in the movie, Snake should probably realize that the president
was more
important.
Needs to go up.
You did see here that this guy wanted to live. He really did want to live. He wasn't not concerned.
And your final character moment here, there's a slight smile and sense of satisfaction. You're free, and off we go.
I remember didn't the studio want...
they wanted Charles Bronson.
Charles Bronson. And you wanted to have a younger kind of guy. And that took a lot of guts, and I think that the outcome was terrific.
Well, we had to stick together, man. I mean, we had to pull it all. Hey, it's been fun, and I hope the audience out there who's watching this has enjoyed it, and I've had a good time going back through the movie. I haven't seen it in so long. It's fun to see it again.
It reminds me of how I felt at that time, and that was that every day out there, I always had you, and that was great.
Hey, that's neat. Yeah. All right, guys. We'll see you later.
See you in the movies.